Hi, everyone. Today we're going to talk about a movie that makes us think about the importance of not being afraid to follow our dreams. It's the story of an ordinary man, consumed by his fantasies, who embarks on a grand adventure and changes his life. We're talking about the film The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Let's dive in and see how Walter overcomes his fears and discovers a world full of possibilities. Part 1. Introduction to Walter Mitty's life. The movie begins by introducing us to the main character, Walter Mitty, played by Ben Stiller. Walter works at the editorial office of Life magazine in the photo editing department. This is a long-standing, respected publication, but as it transitions into the digital age, it is going through tough times. The magazine decides to shift to an online format, which threatens the jobs of many employees, including Walter's. Walter is a quiet, introverted man who lives in New York, rents a small apartment, and leads a monotonous life. His days are all the same: morning, work, home, work again. His life feels gray and stagnant, as if he's unable to change it. He has one passion: daydreaming. Walter often escapes into a world of imaginary adventures, where he heroically solves problems and faces dangers.
I engineered a prosthesis for chips while I was sprinting down this little hip joint assembly with anterior pelvic band.
My man. Hey, my man, you still there?
Like, zoned out for a second.
Oh, okay.
But in real life, he is afraid to take even the smallest step. There is one person in his life who makes his heart race: Cheryl, Kristen Wiig, his colleague at work. Cheryl is a cheerful, vibrant, attractive woman with whom Walter exchanges rare words and glances. He feels drawn to her, but his shyness and lack of self-confidence prevent him from taking a step toward her. His feelings remain hidden, and he doesn't even dare to ask Cheryl out on a date. Walter is consumed by this inner world where he dreams of travels, adventures, and love. However, Walter's real life consists of a boring job, personal worries, and anxieties. Part 2. The assignment for the cover and the missing photo. One day, Walter is given an important task: to find a photograph for the cover of Life's final issue. This must be a shot taken by the famous photojournalist Sean O'Connell, Sean Penn. O'Connell is a legendary photographer who has captured many historically significant images, but he has long since retired and no longer works with mass publications. His last photograph is meant to symbolize the end of the print magazine era and Life's transition to the digital format. However, when Walter begins searching for cover shots, he discovers that one of O'Connell's most important photographs has not been sent to the editorial office. This creates a problem. Walter must find the photo urgently, or the final issue will lack the necessary visual content. As Walter searches for an answer, he suddenly realizes that the photo is lost, and the only way to get it is to find Sean O'Connell. But where can he find such a mysterious man? As it turns out, O'Connell has gone far from civilization, immersed in the search for the true meaning of his work. Part 3. Journey to Iceland. Walter decides that in order to find the missing photo, he must meet with Sean. He travels to Iceland, where, according to rumors, the photographer may be. This is the first moment when Walter decides to take a step toward real adventure. For him, this is a huge leap because he has never shown such determination in his life. Throughout this journey, Walter encounters many unexpected situations. He finds himself far from home for the first time, and every new event in Iceland tests his resolve and courage. He realizes that he is ready to face extreme situations that would have terrified him before. In Iceland, Walter not only tries to find Sean, but also faces real life, full of unexpected challenges.
Hey, Walter! You take him, they're right next to you! Please? Yeah, just jump in the boat, you got him?
Wait, what do you mean, jump into the boat?
No! No! Get the other boat, the little boat!
He jumps from a helicopter into the ocean, participates in risky adventures, and starts to feel his old fears and insecurities begin to melt away. One of the key moments is his meeting with the locals, who, despite their struggles, help Walter. This opens his eyes to the importance of mutual aid in human connections. At this point, Walter realizes that he is not alone and that everything happening to him is helping him grow as a person. Part 4. Walter's search for Sean O'Connell. After Walter experiences several extreme moments in Iceland, he continues his journey, hoping to find Sean O'Connell. But it proves to be more difficult than he expected. In one of the country's remote corners, he faces harsh conditions and situations that push him to the brink of physical and emotional exhaustion. At one point, he is forced to reassess his own limits and views on life. He encounters challenges that would have terrified him before, such as a long journey through inaccessible areas, awkward interactions with strangers, and fear of the unknown. Each step forward is a step into the unknown, and Walter begins to realize that his old fears and insecurities, with which he's lived his whole life, can be overcome. All of this leads him to the realization that he is actually far more capable and courageous than he ever thought. Finally, he finds Sean, but the encounter with the photographer is unexpectedly simple and completely different from what Walter had imagined. In a picturesque, remote location, Walter meets Sean, who is not at all the person Walter expected. Reaching the very edge of the earth in the Himalayas, Walter is struck by a sense of disappointment, but also amazement at how insignificant everything seems in the reality of the world. Part 5. Sean O'Connell and the True Essence of Photography. When Walter meets Sean, he expects him to be a hidden, mysterious, and inaccessible figure, as he had imagined all along. However, reality proves to be different. Sean, it turns out, does not chase fame or recognition. He explains to Walter that the essence of his photography was not about seeking fame or material gain.
When are you gonna take it?
Sometimes I don't. If I like a moment, me, personally, I don't like to have the distraction of the camera. I just want to stay in it.
Stay in it?
Yeah, right there.
But about capturing the true moment of life, those moments that happen naturally without trying to control or force them into expectations. Sean tells Walter that the importance of his work was not in fame or commercial success, but in the ability to capture a moment when a person becomes part of something bigger. This unexpected revelation helps Walter understand that it's not about striving for perfection or idealization, but about enjoying life and realizing that the present moment is the true adventure. During their conversation, Sean reveals that the last photo, which was meant to be the cover, was taken at a moment of perfect calm when there were no external interferences or attempts to create something amazing. That photograph became a symbol of what it means to be part of real life, rather than following others' expectations. For Walter, this is a true revelation. He begins to realize that all the adventures and experiences he underwent in search of the photo were also genuine moments that became an important part of his life. And now he is ready to continue on this path, acting not in search of recognition, but for his own sake. Part 6. Returning home and inner change. Upon returning to New York, Walter faces a completely new perception of life. He is no longer the person who once struggled with his own insecurities and fears. He understands that the most significant step forward he has made is not in external achievements, but in internal transformation. Walter is now ready to take responsibility for his life and be an active participant in his own existence. Coming back to his hometown becomes an opportunity for Walter not only to start living for real, but also to build a relationship with Cheryl. He is no longer afraid to take action and finally decides to speak to her. He opens up to her about his feelings, no longer shy or hiding them, which resonates with her. Cheryl, who is also dealing with her own doubts and fears, starts to see Walter not just as a colleague, but as a man who is ready to act and show interest in life. For Walter, this becomes the first step in a new life. He no longer watches events unfold from the sidelines as he did before. He now actively participates in them. This is a crucial moment when he stops being just an observer and becomes a full participant in his life and relationships with others. Epilogue: The Cover and a New Life. The film ends with a scene where Walter, no longer working at Life, is walking down the street with Cheryl. A genuine, warm connection has grown between them. He's no longer afraid to be himself, to speak openly and confidently. Together, they enter a store that sells the Life magazine and notice the final printed issue. On the cover is a photo of Walter sitting on the steps outside the office, surrounded by his colleagues. It's deeply symbolic. O'Connell chose not to feature an exotic location or breathtaking landscape, but the man who had been the heart of the magazine. It captured a moment of real life, honest and meaningful. Walter had become the embodiment of life's mission: to see, to feel, to be present. In this way, the film completes its message. Sometimes, to find yourself, you simply have to step beyond the familiar, believe in your strength, and dare to act. Walter made that journey, from a dreamer to the hero of his own life. Thank you for watching. We hope Walter Mitty's story has inspired you to take bold steps and make new achievements. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Until next time, and remember, the most important thing in life is not to be afraid to dream and take action. Bye.